data points. I had a trial program. You sign up, same as Netflix. Sign up for 7 days or 14 days, view whatever you want, and then after 14 days, whether you subscribe or not. So my boss was asking me, why are we not doing online advertising globally? Makes sense, right? It's an online product, just advertise globally, just pay Google and all. But I don't have clients in Antarctica or Russia. I don't have to spend it there. I have to target my spending. So what I look at is that I look at the 100 million data points, run it through predictive analytics, and it just told me if you want to maximize your marketing spend, just target females in the US. So I spent my marketing dollars on females in the US because they have a high likelihood of converting, of paying and subscribing. Now, when I said, okay, if I maximize already, I have reached all the females in the US, who else do I target? It says, you can target in Canada, but only those who have credit cards. See, in the US, they have to be female. In Canada, they just have to have credit cards. And I had so many variables. I had like more than 200 variables. Who's their favorite celebrity? How many times are they watching? What's their income? How much revenue are they making? So I had so many things that I can use. But at the end of the day, it just told me, females in the US, you're good. Canada with credit card, you're good. And then different countries, different profiles. So I can segment the customers and I can target properly. So I don't have to spend so many dollars on that. Socially informed knowledge is basically, you have social media now, you can take a look at what do they have, what are they looking for. You can use social media listening to collect what people are talking about. You can also use search results, what people are searching about. Okay. Now, when you look at, so you understand the customer first. Once you understand the customer, you look at top line growth. What can I sell on digital? If I can do it, well, it's so easy now. You can. Before, when we were talking about having my own store, you have to build your own e-commerce store. Now you can just sell it on Amazon or on eBay. You have your own digital store. So easy. Before it has my own e-commerce. I have to worry about credit card processing. I have to worry about warehousing. I have to do all of that. Now I just focus on my product. I can focus on the experience of my product. I don't have to worry about the storefront. So I can go and use digital enhanced selling. On top of that one, you can do predictive marketing. I know who hasn't used Amazon here to buy anything. So one way or another, we've used Amazon, and when you look at one product, it tells you what are the other products you can buy, either complementary or competitive. Okay? It just helps you, it helps make the experience better. Used to be when you go to a store, you're looking at one product and then the sales lady comes in to you and asks you, do you like it? You don't want it, right? No, I just browse. I'm just browsing and not buying, and you walk away. But these were more permissive, with allowing, you want this? Oh, this is all the products. I can explain it to you, and then there are even reviews and other things that you can look at. So there's predictive marketing. It actually increases your conversion rates. Again, the other one is streamlined customer process. Now, online, we know the benefits of online. When we do online shopping, just pick one shopping cart, all that, right? Let's look at it from a grocery standpoint. Do you guys go to the grocery or somebody else does it for you? You go, right? So what happens? You put it in a basket, and then you're about to pay, you line up. Okay? And then you wait. Oh no. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. If it's on the weekend, it takes longer. In the US, the experience that they created was that, okay, you check out your own stuff. I bring my basket, I bring my cart, I scan it, put it in the bag, myself, pay, go. They make you even work just for that experience, right? They make you work, they have less people, you're more happy. Because you are controlling that experience. You want control. People want control, right? You are controlling that experience. You're not depending on how fast that lady on the counter or the guy on the counter is checking out people. They're not talking. If they're talking to someone else, not listening to you, and then they're not really focused, now you have control as to what happens. You can do that easily without really good, that's an experience that you have. Streamline the process. They did a lot of studies on, can you do that here? You'll be too scared, people will just go, right? Let's imagine that. Let's imagine the concept of credit card. That would have not worked if it started here in Asia. Because we would just fake all the signatures. Even checks. And I know, even a check, right? Who knows there's money at the bank? That's why we have so much of that fraud there. But again, it's an experience and it makes it easier. That's why you buy from one. So I now look for it. First I buy more online. But if I do buy from a store, I go to a store where I can do the checkout. If I have a choice between there's a line here, like two people with a lady in the counter, and there's a line here, like maybe 5 people to self-checkout, I would line up with the self-checkout. See? It's just a totally different experience. Now, in terms of customer touchpoints, one definitely customer service. We have so many call centers, either here or all over the world. And one way or another, our products, they will need help. Whether it's a failure on the product, whether they need support on the product, whether they need to return a product, customer service is very important. This is something sometimes that we miss out, especially when we're consulting. We have our clients, right? How do we handle problems that are encountered by clients? Now, retail companies would be easily doing this because that's normal for them. Even Amazon does it so well. Like, I don't like something, I just return it. Even the customer service is automated, but if I do need to talk to someone, they will just do, okay, we'll send you another one. Example, I know what I ordered. They delivered to the wrong address. So it says it's delivered, but I don't see it. Okay, we'll send you a new one immediately. I don't even have to pay again. So I could have lied and said I did not get it. But the concept of, okay, I'll make money somewhere else. Right, the experience is there. I trust them now to do more business with them. So you buy more from people who give you a better experience and customer service. Cross-channel coherence, on the other hand, is talking about, sometimes you can buy the same product in store, online. Other vendors just have the same thing. You might price it differently, but be sure that the message is the same. Now, you do campaigns also. You might have an online campaign, you have an online ad, and then you have a landing page, or sometimes the message is not the same. If the message is not the same, what happens? They lose out. They go away. They don't even end up buying new. And that is what I talk about self-service. Self-service, if you can do it yourself, the first self-service I would say would be, that was common, was an ATM. Right? First job, I want an ATM. I don't have to wait for the bank. I really experience it when they have to give out money. That's on an envelope. And then there are some hold-uppers who will wait on the corner, and when people leave, they will just wait for you, and then they just take your money away. So ATM is actually really good from a customer experience standpoint. Okay, now we look at operational process. This is very familiar for us. Right? Process digitization. You do performance improvements, if you have ERP, it just becomes normal, but it's really transforming. Sometimes it's just digitization. So it comes out, it's digitization in that sense. The other thing is worker enablement. One attendee I think in Hyderabad said, why would you like to do DP? He said, I want my employees to work 24/7. And I said, sir, I don't want to work for you. But letting people work anywhere, anytime, and I know it's so hard for us to do that here, right? Because sometimes there's a trust issue, but that's why we have to have really smart people and good people and responsible people so that we can allow them to do that. But a lot of companies in the US, they don't even have to worry because they save so much on office space. They save so much on other costs, transport. But they actually have better productivity for some people because the time that I spend to travel. So imagine how long does it take for your employees to get to your office and to get out? At least 1 hour one way, 1 hour the other way. That's without traffic. I used to do that. When I was in the Philippines, my one way is 2 hours, the other way is 2 hours. So I'm spending half of my working hours just traveling. So 8 hours work, 4 hours travel. Does that make sense, right? What if it was 12 hours work, no travel? That's what they get. Because people will feel like they owe it to work more because I'm not in the office. I don't know, some people would also do the different way, like, I just let my RPA do some, do some keystrokes and then I go away. I watch a movie. So that will happen. It's okay. But you have to look at the reality. What benefits can you gain more in terms of letting your people do this? That's how I can take vacations, working anywhere, anytime, because of the technology that we have. Right? Broader and faster communication. Right now, we take it for granted that we can email, we can text, we can call, we can WhatsApp, Viber. What does it use? WeChat? Facebook messaging? I remember I used to send a meeting invite. I have to type it in a memo. Right, sir? Type it down. Typewriter. Not even Word. There's no Word yet. There was Word Star. If you were lucky. You, my friend, are my friend. You remember that, the good stuff. Okay, so you type it out a memo and then send it out, have a messenger route it. Right? And you wouldn't even know who's attending, who's not, just so they show up. And then they show up 1 hour late, 2 hours late, and it's still okay. So we take it for granted. Now, community knowledge sharing is something that we, as your organization grow, it's okay if your organization is about 100, 150. You can still manage it, we can talk to a lot of guys, you know them, but once you grow to 200, especially like 400,000 or 200,000, how do you share knowledge? People who have the same job, or people who have the same goals, I won't say the same jobs, but people who have the same goals, how do they learn from each other? You have to share, you have to have an environment where people can learn from each other and work together. From a performance management standpoint, especially if you are in manufacturing, if you have IoT that are lined up there, it's so easy to predict and prevent failures. Now, even if you know it's predictive, you'll be able to see, okay, this line is 99% uptime, this line is different. Alright, so now you have to replace this one, or you don't replace it, it's up to you, and let's accept that it's going to happen. And this is who said data-driven decision making. Somebody said, you make decisions based on data. That's easier. Now actually the best part is that decision making is driven by data and no human intervention. That's what machine learning and AI is, and that's what automation does for a lot of things. You take out the people cannot make decisions faster than a computer, especially if you have already taught it what kind of problems that they will face and will save it for you. You have the ones that are self-correcting, right? So if you're doing a server that has load balancing or high availability, you know that if one fails, it automatically moves there faster than the human person can do it. Before you even know it, it's done it. It's made the decision. So the data-driven decision making is not only for humans, but also for machines to work with. That's what IoT does. It makes it simple. Automate the whole process, no one is managing it. This is the, I don't know if the fun part is something that we might not have to look at, but we have, when we're working with clients, there's something that we need to help them with. Digital modified business. Sometimes you get a project where it's product and service augmentation. I have this product, how can I bring it online? Whether to market it, or is there a complementary product that's digital for it? Transitioning physical to digital is like DVDs before, now you just stream it, you download it, you don't even have to worry, you can watch it on your phone. So same product, but you are transforming the experience that you don't have space to store all these DVDs. Sometimes you put in digital wrappers, just an augmentation again. Like if you buy a Blu-ray DVD in the US, sometimes they add additional content that you will get based on that. So that's augmentation, you wrap something else. Now, new digital business is really creating just digital products. If you look at it, something like Uber, it's all digital. There's not really, you don't have a car, they don't even own their cars. So it's something that is just, I would call them digital native. Facebook, they don't. If you look at what do they buy, It's more internal, but they're not selling something to you that you physically touch. It's all digital. Google is the same thing, except if you buy the phone. Then that's why Facebook is doing the portal, so you have the device, but again, they don't see adoption for it. And it allows you to reshape your organizational boundaries. So before, you're only constrained to your local space. Now, the reason why we have so much growth in India on industry, on technology, is because we can sell globally. I don't have to be in the US to have US clients, who have US or Western clients that you haven't seen them. Right? If I'm selling something, I can sell it worldwide, even if it's a physical good. So I was making Spanish paella, so it's made out of rice, but they would recommend it. It's made of, it's Spanish rice and it has squid ink. So it's called paella negra. It's black. I can buy squid ink in the US, so I bought it in Amazon, coming from Spain. It's expensive, but so we do that easily in the Philippines. They go take a squid and then squeeze it. There's a black ink that comes through it, right? But it allows you to have your product available globally, almost instantaneously. If it's a digital product, so much more, because, hey, I don't care where you are. I can sell it to you. Now, on globalization, first work with multinational companies. So just imagine how you manage, and when I was with Colgate the same thing. That's why I make fun of the toothpaste, because I had so much of toothpaste for a long time. Shampoo and soap and whatever Colgate Palmolive does. Right? So, different countries, you have different systems. Your system here in India might not be similar to what you're using in other countries. But you have to make sure that they integrate, because at some point you have to use whatever they're recommending and do it here. Sometimes they move the items from one area to the other, and you just have to make sure that you can integrate. Now, when I say enterprise integration, it doesn't have to be digital. It has to be how you integrate the other businesses. When somebody acquires a company, the problem is not how do you integrate those people into your organization? How do you make it work? Sometimes it just fails, right? You have Microsoft buying Nokia. The integration wasn't there. They just sold it somewhere else at a bigger loss. Now you, as a global organization, you have to redistribute authority. You can make decisions here. You don't have to have all the decisions done for your headquarters. Where's your headquarters? Here or?
Mine is here.
Yours is here. So where are your other offices?
Earlier I used to work for MNC in
Okay.
US.
US MNC.
Welcome San Diego, Pac-Man,
Okay. But you can make decisions locally.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to wait for that to be done there. And then the more you are able to do that, so with the business model, you can tailor fit your products locally, whatever your market needs, because it will be something else. If you look at KFC, I don't get the same KFC in the US. Right? It's just the same, it's still KFC, but the brand is, they're selling the brand. You have to look at it. But the experience, they have to customize to what is local. Because I don't think it will work if I sell whatever you have here in the US, whatever they have in the US, and sell it here. It might, or it might not. But they've done their study, that customer preferences, that's what worked for them. And then a shared digital service. I know you have a large organization that wants to centralize a digital platform into one location so that it services all the other organizations. And one of the participants in Bangalore, they actually work for News Corp. So it used to be per country they have a digital service group. Now they centralize it in Bangalore. It's something that you can share. You save on cost, but something that also do it globally. Okay, so this is just 9 of it, but I know with the emergence of IT 4.0 or Industry 4.0.
Industry.
I learned something new when they come here. For me, it's just IoT. But you have to package it. Why would you? I asked, so where is IT 2.0? Where was Industry 2.0? I didn't even hear about Industry 3.0. Where did it go? So are you like, see, you see all of those things are just rebranding, but it's basically the same thing. It just allows you to do same goals. Increase revenue, save on cost, and just figure out how the hell are you going to make money out of it. Okay? So I'll go through some case studies. What time are we on? So I don't want to bore you guys to
Like 5,
4. Okay. We're until 5, right? I don't want to take up so much. Okay. Who has heard of Netflix? Who has Netflix at home? You guys don't do Netflix? Okay. You watch TV? Movie? Eat dosa?
Hotstar is popular here.
Hotstar? Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Netflix they don't have a large market share yet.
Okay. Alright. That's good. See, I learned something today. Who has heard of Blockbuster? Who has rented DVDs before? VHS. Betamax. How much of it was porn or not porn? No, I'm just kidding. So, Blockbuster, the business model was they would rent out VHS and DVD and Laserdisc. Oh, and that's what I forgot. Laserdisc, the really big one. Before the DVDs, right? So that was their business. They had large stores, maybe 2 or 3 this size, and they have a catalog of all the DVDs that come in. And they're like 7-Eleven. There's a lot of them. A lot of people just watch movies then. So that was their business model. Netflix, on the other one, the first business model they had was they would rent out the same DVDs, but via mail. So in Blockbuster, you pay for each title. Netflix model was you subscribe, I think $10 a month, and you can have up to 3 DVDs at any given time. So if you get a DVD now, they will mail it to you. You say you go online, you choose which movies you want, they will mail you the DVD, right? They will mail you the DVD, and then if you're done watching for one, mail it back to them, and then you can request for another DVD. That's not the Netflix that you know now, right? But that's how they started. And then they started streaming, but before they were even successful, because this is 2006 and 7 when bandwidth was mostly DSL, maximum is 1.5 to 2 Mbps, you can really stream really good quality TV. The online streaming for us, the reason it worked, because it was really targeted just for computers. And people are more forgiving on computers. Netflix's goal was to stream video for your TV. So the expectations are high because DVDs were already there. So Netflix went to Blockbuster. Said, we're offering ourselves for you to buy us out. And when they said, what's your asking price? $50 million. And then Blockbuster just laughed at them. Okay? Don't laugh at someone who's selling themselves to you. Because somebody might come in and that's what happened. Blockbuster is done. Netflix is the king of streaming, at least in the US or most of the parts of the world. India is just different because you have so much content. You can be successful in India because of the size of the market. So big. Your pricing is even so much nicer than what we have. So that was the story of Netflix in terms of how they grew in that. But that's not the end there, because what happened to them was that they did not own content. Okay? They did not own content and they have to buy content. And the problem is that they have to pay for each country. That's why Netflix did not come here, did not go global until 2015 or 16. Right? Because they have the rights for the content globally. Content is bought per country. Can really show that there. Now, one of the first catalogs that they had was from Showtime. Showtime is like the HBO. If you're familiar with HBO, they have so many movies. So that's where they get the content from. But the problem was that, they got a sweetheart deal. They paid $100 million. Sweetheart deal. The $100 million is sweetheart deal for them, right? For the first 5 years. Because if I was Showtime, I'm saying $100 million for content that I'm not making money out of now. It's free money for me, $100 million, right? Netflix, you see it? You guys are crazy. Pay me $100 million for something that might not work. But it worked. When the 5 years ended, what happened? Do you think they will take $100 million? No way, right? I'm gonna ask for gazillion dollars or a billion dollars. So they were asking for several, I don't know how much. So Netflix said, I can't operate this way. I have to create my own content. That's why you have Netflix Originals. That's why you have Amazon Prime Originals, right? Because again, it's the same issue. That's why you watch more, you have less content in Amazon Prime than in Netflix. So they created their own Amazon Netflix Original. But they didn't just not create the content. They looked at viewing patterns, viewing behavior. Who has watched 24? No? 24? Okay. So if you're watching a series that has like 12 episodes or 20 episodes, what they looked at the behavior for people was that they would sit down on weekends and binge watch. Okay? So 24 episodes. The whole weekend. They will have beer, they will have food, they will have pizza, no. So that was the behavior they were seeing. Normally, you release TV shows, one episode, 1 week. Sometimes in the US, one episode, 1 week, then the next episode will be 3 weeks after. So it's not like every week you're getting something new. Once they figured it out, the first show that they released was House of Cards. And they just put all the episodes in one go. And analysts were saying, are you guys crazy? Because I subscribe now and then the next month I will not subscribe. If I watch all of the episodes, what's the point of subscribing again next month? Right? But their data was telling them it's okay. We do it now and then we'll just create more of this so people will continue subscribing. So that's the power of digital transformation. The way we view content has been changed, leveraged, and the data analytics that they had was what made them successful as they are today. Now the reason why, and then since they created more content, they were not dependent on content companies anymore. Actually, it was content companies coming to them, hey, can you pay our content? Can you pay for our content and we'll give you rights globally? Then they were able to do global distribution. Okay? Now HBO, similar to Showtime, they try to do Netflix, they have an offering HBO Go, but it's just so hard to compete because they have their own content and they're limited to their content. They also license from someone, but they're tied to existing license model. So that's when you talk about customer experience, that's a Netflix side, and then the business model. So Netflix was doing all the three things: business model side, the customer experience, and even the processes because they had all the data processing that they did. HBO, they cannot change much on the business model. They tried, but it's still a work in progress. They still exist. So they're there. Now what I did with ABS-CBN was kind of different because we had all of this content. The difference is that we have channels and we own our own content. And this is totally different also from others wherein they pay someone, they get the license to air the content and that's it. Right? So the same thing as Netflix model. But ABS-CBN, mostly in the Philippines, we produce our own content and it's only available in the channel. So we have all of this content available on TV. And then we have Filipinos all over. It's like same as India, but we don't have as much. We have about 10 to, I don't know, it's 18 million now, that are available globally. So look at what product can we offer them. We already offer satellite. A satellite to the home is expensive. It's about $40 per month. Because we lease our own satellite. So we lease our own satellite spot and we sell the box. And we install the box. So it's really expensive to get satellite service for Filipino content. It was too expensive for us. And then the other cable channels will not easily partner. So we were doing direct-to-home satellite service. I think some Indian companies do that also. I know Z was doing it at the point. But what we thought of is that what if we offer our TV, our content online? So we started streaming. So streaming only is 2001. So you get this big screen. This big and 1/4 of SD. So it's not really good, but people were subscribing for it, but didn't work out well for us. So okay, it's not viable as they think it. So after maybe in 2004, I know, exactly 2004. We said, let's do, what can we offer now? Because streaming has matured, there's a little bit more faster bandwidth. So we created a VOD product. Now VOD is normal. Before creating VOD product, it's not easy because to capture video and transcode it was too expensive. So I asked for a budget of about $50,000. I said, okay, let's do this one and figure out how we're going to make money out of it. So The thinking was, we'll offer it VOD because people are the behavior. People are not buying the satellite service because nurses, we have so many nurses and we have so many contract workers that your shift is not the same every day. Our content was released every day. So if we have a show that's series, every day there's a new episode. Now, if I miss one day, what happens? There's no value to me, right? So nurses were not subscribing, contract workers were not subscribing. So we did not have a product that was tailored for them. And then we come out with a VOD and said, hey, watch any show anytime you want, and if you miss one episode, you can go back. Same thing as the behavior of Netflix. Problem is that we were not thinking Netflix-wide, global. So we crossed all the geographical boundaries, but we were still thinking Filipino. If we were thinking global, we'd been there now. So that's the bold they missed, okay? But we have the technology, but the key thing there is that we wanted to act fast. So we had the product released in 3 months. The only thing I have to make sure it works is that I can stream, the content is protected, I can charge through credit card, and that was it. And I have a website. The website did not even have intelligence. We did not have content management, we don't have. So manually we were updating the page. Because we didn't know whether it's gonna work or not, right? Once we had the customers, we met our targets, our 5-year targets were met in 3 months. Then I invest in CMS. So you look at it, there's growth, and then there's the optimization. So we made it faster because for me to add more content, I had actually 8 people. I was like, no, 1 person for each show. So we have maybe 8 shows in a day. So 8 people are doing that. So when we change it, it becomes easier. So that's how you think of how can you leverage existing product, and what are the digital augmentation that you can do. And that opens up the market for you. Remember before I can only target the Philippines, right? When it became digital, it became a market, a product I can sell globally. But it did not stop there, because once we had the content digitized, we can chop up the content and then offer it in YouTube. Okay? We leverage also social media so that the content is distributed across different channels that people who don't watch TV, but they look at funny moments, funny things. They can look at it, they can watch it, they can share it, and we're monetizing on that as well. So there are many avenues that you can look at, but you have to look at the customer again. We did not start with technology. We started with what is the customer experience that's needed, and then look for, do we have the technology to make this happen? We had a set-top box before Roku had a set-top box. So there are things that you can do because those are the goals that we wanted to happen. So again, look at the customer first, create the experience, and then figure out the technology. Now, sometimes it's difficult for us because we're not creating products, we're creating services, right? Do that for your customers. So your customer now, how are they servicing them? Your customer now, how are they servicing their customers? How are they servicing their clients, their end users? So that's something that you have to look out for. Okay, communications. Who was heard of Motorola? Motorola. What do they do?
Radios,
They were doing.
Huh?
They were doing.
They were doing. How did they do? They were doing. That's the right word to say. They invented
They were the first to do
the
it.
cell phone. So that's why I'm stopping there. Just think of it. They invented the cell phone. They revolutionized the experience. So the first commercials were car phones, mobile phones, not cell phone, but mobile phones, but cellular because it sells. That's why it's called cellular phone, because the towers are the cells. Okay. First ones were car phones. You have a phone in your car, which is actually very, very dangerous, but that was the first use case. And then it ended up having like a very, very nice portable phone. So you would have guys that would have cell phones that this big, literally this big, and then you put it in your pocket. Right?
Some emitting also. Signals.
With signals, right? Just to know that it's on. There's always like a beep or a beep. So that's what Motorola is doing. Don't get me wrong, they became so big. Okay? In fact, the largest selling phone at the time was a Motorola flip phone, the Razor. Remember a flip phone? Americans love it. It's like pulling a gun and then flip it, right? It rates who can draw your phone first. Okay? So they were selling so well. Why would I disturb? Why would I change it? Nokia was selling soap phones, right? Nokia was actually bigger than Motorola in terms of market size. They were selling. Your phone would have been a Nokia at some point. If you knew at that time, I'm sure I went to like 3 or 4 Nokia phones, right? I just didn't put it here because they said, it's common, we don't talk about it. But Motorola, so they had that one. BlackBerry, who's heard of BlackBerry? So all business phones, if you want, so imagine the phones before didn't have access to email. So if you want a phone that has secure access to email, you have BlackBerry. They will install servers in your Outlook or your Exchange servers. They will have connectors. You have a BlackBerry server and connect it, and then you have BlackBerry email service. It was great. They have the monopoly of all the enterprise email clients having, salespeople or executives. I have BlackBerry. Consumer, flip phone. Okay? So sometimes they have 2. Flip phone and a BlackBerry. Just because you don't have one, right? Then our friends from Apple come in. Were they a phone company? No. They just created an experience that blew everyone away. And it was downhill for everyone else after that one. Right? What did they create? Just an experience. They were not a phone company. The first product was actually crap. Or it was so hard, there was no ecosystem, but the experience was different. Do you think Nokia was also working on a smartphone? It was, I don't know if we work with them, but they wanted to control, Apple also controls the ecosystem. That's why Samsung comes in here, because Android with Google allowed an open system for other manufacturers to come in. But that's what happened. They created a new experience that was totally unheard of, right? But where did they start? Did they start with the technology? No. Steve Jobs has to create the experience first. He was a creative guy. He was like, okay, what is it that you want to do? And then have the right people, the smart people, to figure it out. It's a demand that he has. Like, figure out the technology to make this work. If you need to invent the technology, but this is the experience that I want, because this is the experience that's going to transform how people use the phone. Different, right? We start with what we can do, and then figure out what we need. Where are the customers? These are the customers. Hey, I create a product for them. That actually becomes a problem now, because the wall of the iPhone is just common now. It's a race to who has more cameras. So how many cameras does your phone have now? 2, 3, 4. It's crazy, because there's not much you can do anymore. Now what's the next thing? I don't know. But they actually, and then the way they were doing is that they were pricing it higher and higher. First iPhones was $300. The first smartphones, $300, $400. Now it's how much?
Almost $1,000.
More.
$2,000.
1 lakh.
Indian rupees, it's more like.
Yeah, and in rupees it's about 12. But it's equivalent to like $1,200. What? I can buy a car for $1,000. Let's imagine that one. And that's why they have brought back the price of the newer phones to about 800. So that's a new release. That's a new version they have. Because you can't just keep on increasing the price. The features are not there anymore. There's no justification. Samsung, on the other hand, was a different story, because if you bought a TV in the early 2000s or in the early 90s, what TV will you buy?
Samsung.
No, that's now.
Sony.
1990, 2000 early.
Panasonic.
You'll buy Sony, right? Or Hitachi, or Panasonic. Where are those guys? Sony had a phone. Hitachi has a phone. Panasonic had a phone. Sharp had a phone. Almost everyone had a phone, right? But Samsung, you wouldn't buy Samsung because it's Korean. No, we want Japanese. I want Japanese, right? That's the brand before. If it's made in Taiwan, made in China, no good. I want only Japanese. Camera, electronics, all Japanese. Okay? Samsung deliberately created a strategy that it's going to be a different experience. It's going to be at par, at least at par or even better than the Japanese counterparts that were ahead in the technology side. They spent so much and just delivered and packaged it in a real way that you can come in and say, if you buy now, you buy Samsung, right? Between a Samsung and a Sony, which one will you buy?
Samsung.
There you go. So, somebody can always come in. Sony was king. Motorola was king. BlackBerry was king. Was. So if you create a new experience, it doesn't matter whether it's technology, but all of these things are backed by technology. The only reason why they were able to do that fast change, the only reason why they were able to create that, because they were technology-driven products. That's why they become example city. But in any industry, it's the same thing. Just create a new different experience. Restaurant. Create a new experience in a restaurant. Put it in the middle of the river. There's a restaurant in Hyderabad. Cloud. The Cloud restaurant. So they put it in a, so you have in a, I don't know. You have a crane that pulls you up. Okay. There's no restroom. Yeah, and then the crane takes you like 4 or 5 stories up. It's just creating an experience, right? What's the technology? It's a crane technology that's being used by someone else to create so many buildings. Maybe there's an excess inventory of cranes. You create a cloud restaurant. Okay. Transportation and travel. Who's heard of Lexus? What is Lexus?
Luxury brand of Toyota.
You always think of that, right? Lexus is the Toyota luxury brand. It's basically just a Toyota,
Right.
but they charge you double. They're competing with BMW. They actually sell more than, but pricing wise, they're similar. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Jaguar. So, how did they go through it? What the experience is similar to what Samsung was doing. They were looking at technology and the experience for their customers. So the problem with German cars, German luxury cars, is that they're so high maintenance and they break down often. If you're a British car, you actually break down more often than German cars. If you're Italian, electronics will not work. So that's why Italian cars have no electronics. Even if you buy a Ferrari, electronics are so much cheaper. They don't even have air conditioning. Some of the Ferrari. But Lexus created a really comfortable car. But the experience that they did was that in the 90s, they networked all of their dealerships and service centers. So that when you bring your car in for servicing, they know who you are. They can read you. They can serve you better. They know the history of your car. If they know the history of your car, they can take care of your car better. They know exactly what your preferences are. Imagine in the 90s networking. Well, I told you in the 90s it was $2,000 just to network a machine. That was their use of technology to get into the luxury space. Now, you still think of Toyota, Lexus is a Toyota, but you're willing to pay for a Lexus. Now, Tesla, who hasn't heard of Tesla? Tesla, on the other hand, we're not talking about the electronics part, the electric battery part of it. That's a disruption by itself. From an experience standpoint, you don't have to go line up for gas, that's good enough. But there's also the other jarring part of it, like I have to wait to charge my car longer, right? So that's a trade-off. What I want to talk about is the experience where they send out updates to your car over the air. So you're basically getting an update, an upgrade for your car for free, and getting a new car almost every quarter. So you have features that come in that when you bought it, it was not available. If you bought a Benz or a Lexus or a BMW, to get that new feature, wait for the next year, buy a new one. With Tesla, you don't have to buy a new one. So there's a big difference from a customer standpoint. They love it. They even have a shortage of delivery guys. So when they finally release the Model 3, because if they release so many cars at the same time, they don't have enough delivery trucks and all, or people that will deliver it. Because you don't go to the store and get the car. They deliver it for you. They don't even have stores. You have showrooms and then that's it. You cannot buy a car from there. They even have customers that volunteered to deliver the car for them to other customers. Just imagine that. Just imagine your customer helping you deliver your product to their other customers and do a demo. Because when you get a Tesla, when you get delivery for Tesla, you go through a training, like maybe show you all the features, this is how you turn it on, this is how you turn it off. So they have to show somebody to show them how it works. They got it for free. Because the experience is so good for them. So look at the product that they're providing. The experience is there. You have following, you have like fanatics and even fans. You have fanatics that will do things for you. Now about Air India, what's happening? Nothing, right? Well, that's why. Okay. So that's the case study for you. Nothing is happening. You get all of these other airlines that are taking over your business. That's a good part, and then there's one that's going to go away where I don't know what's going to happen to them. Somebody's buying it.
They've been going away for a long time.
Okay. It's sad, right? If you feel about it, like it's sad, but it's part of us growing up, but it's not really there. I don't know. Okay. Southwest, on the other hand, their business model is driven by efficiency. They can turn around a plane within, I think, 30 minutes or even less. So when you ride a Southwest, there's no seat number. Now I see always the upgrade. You have to pay for a seat that you want. You buy the ticket and then you buy the seat and then you buy food. It used to be free, all of them. You just book early and then you get the seat that you want and then you get free food. Now you pay for everything else. Southwest model, and they have been doing this for several years. When they started, you don't get a seat number. What you get is a queue number, because they did the study wherein if you don't have a seat number, just let people go sit where they are. The first thing you have to do is just make sure you're the first in line. So that's what they were selling, first in line. So if you have a bigger reward, you go in line first. And then just go. So just choose whatever seat that you want. Okay? That's why they were able to make a turnaround of the planes faster. People go out, and then people go in. So they do a little bit of cleaning, because airlines make, as much as possible, you keep your planes on the air. When it's on the ground, you're not making money because you're paying for your crew and you're paying for the airport. You pay the airport every time that the plane is there. You have your ground staff. Now they just, and this one I'll spend a little bit longer here because I explained it this morning. Okay? They invested close to $800 million to improve the way that they operate in terminations. Because what happens in one terminal might affect the traffic of all the others. So how fast can they react? How fast can they reschedule? How fast? So you still keep that 30 minutes, right? The on time for them, it's important. So they spent $800 million, they call it Ops Suite. They transfer about 1 million messages a day across their crew, their captain, the ground staff, the baggage handlers, or anyone within the operations team, so that they know when something happens, at least on a day-to-day basis, operation-wise, it's just automating, right? But the added capability for them was to reduce the impact of unforeseen schedule delays. So if something happens in LA, some plane got delayed, they will know the impact immediately as to which other planes are going to be affected. Or if there's a weather disturbance in New York, snows in, right? How can they react first so that they can manage the discontent of the passengers, customer first. So they can react faster. It used to be taking them 6 hours, now it's way less than. Compared to the experience I had earlier, I was supposed to take off at 8:15. So I was at the airport around 7. So early, and I came in late last night, so I was early in the airport. So 7, I was there, supposed to take off at 8:15. They said it's going to be delayed to 10. It became 11:15. So they boarded us at 10:30. We're already in the plane. We're stuck there for almost 3 hours. Well, not 3 hours, an hour and a half. But in total, the day was how many? 8? 4.5 hours, 5 hours. And they said they were waiting for somebody in Delhi. because they had like heavy rains in Delhi, and some planes will get delayed or cancelled or rescheduled. So it had a ripple effect. People were already so mad that they were trying, I don't know. The captain was trying to speak, and somebody, one passenger said, "Hey, tell me one time." He said, "She can't even talk." She's trying to explain, just tell me one time. And when he starts talking, like, let her talk. But they still don't have an answer. And that's the problem, because they don't have visibility. They don't have a communication that tells them, this is the reason why, and this is what we're doing. The expectation of the customer is to get me to where I want. Even if you make me wait, you're stuck in the airplane, it's cramped, right? You're not going anywhere, and you don't know where you're going to go. So just managing the expectation of the customer, you could have said, this is what's happening, this is how we're going to handle it. We don't know yet when we're going to fly out, but this is what we're trying to do. But there was no communication in that sense. So I tweeted and said, hey, this is what's happening. And the other reply said, I'm sorry, that's it. That's it. Okay, Oyo on the other hand, this is local. The transformation, they are a disruptor. It's not, they are not a they're not doing any transformation themselves. They disrupted the whole 3-star hotel. So they have low occupancy hotels. But if you are a hotel, if you don't go digital, most of people would book online now. So if you just go with someone else, that's a problem for you. But he was starting from the customer standpoint. I book a hotel, I have really this high expectation, and when I go, it's not what's in the picture. Right? It looks good, but then you come in, it's not. So there's a disconnect between the expectation and the delivery. So you just said, I want to standardize all these hotels that you have Wi-Fi, you have clean linens, you have TV, and there was one thing else. But there's like at least 4 key things that you would expect that they will always be there, consistently delivering on the promise. Now they started off renovating the hotels themselves, but eventually they partnered with the asset owners that would come and say, hey, I want to be part of your program, make me part, co-brand with you, I'll do the renovation and help you out. So what they've seen is an increase in occupancy of the OU hotels members. The transformation was also key thing that they target, customer service, exactly what they have here, okay? First is the customer, what is good for the customer, okay? So when they answer what the good of the customer, they look at what is needed for their employees to deliver that experience consistently. So look at that's some operational process that you're talking about. The third one is that maximize the return for the asset owners. So this is a business model for the asset owners. For you asset owners, you will have an increase in revenue and occupancy. And the value of your property will actually go up because we're renovating them. So, three customers for them immediately. End user, employees, and the asset owners. So that's how they've been growing, and I think they're doing the same model globally as well. So you can expand, same concept. Okay, we still have time. You can go 10 minutes? 30 minutes. I can just go slow here, and the impact of Amazon, I will not repeat it again because we just killed so many businesses. Best Buy was one of them that was almost dead. Because Best Buy is an electronics store, retail store. Okay? They sell TVs. If you want to buy your Sony, now Samsung, for mobile phones, that's where you go. Okay? The problem was that when online e-commerce started, when e-commerce really picked up in early 2000s, 2004, 2005, 2006, Best Buy became a showroom. What happens is I go to Best Buy, look at the new LCD, LED TV, get the model, look at the quality of the video, I go out, and then I buy it online because it's much cheaper online. Sad, right? Because somebody else is benefiting from what you're doing, and they figured out they had to close so many stores also. But then they revised the model. They rethought, why would people go to Best Buy anyway? Instead, people are here, they come in, so I'll create a better experience for them. So the experience for them is that really displaying the right products. So when mobile phones became it was easier. They started the store within store. So it used to be in the US, what you will do is that you buy your cell phones, not unlock any other. Normally you go to AT&T, T-Mobile, or Verizon. In your case, we go to Airtel and you buy your phones there. You don't buy your phone somewhere else. Because it comes with a plan or something or whatever. So they pioneered something like a store within a store, so that AT&T, Verizon, and all the other guys were selling within Presto. So one is that they can bring people in. They also provided revenue for, they get internal rental maybe from the other vendors. And they did the same thing for the other brands. And from there, they offered rewards program wherein actually what your rewards are, you can use to buy other products within Best Buy. So you can do that. And then they offer also 12 months, 24 months, 30 months financing without interest. You can do financing online. Now you can. So at that time, you cannot do financing online. If I buy a $1,000 TV, I have to pay the $1,000. I charge it with a credit card, $1,000 TV. Now you can go to Best Buy and say, okay, you can buy a $2,000 TV and just pay like $50 for 3 years. So now it became more, you can buy it. Before you have to save up. Now see, Americans want instant gratification. That's why we're in so much debt, even to the Chinese. We owe so much. But that's the thing that they have changed. The experience for the customer, so that it's easier for you to buy, and it allows you to do things that you were not able to do before. Sears, on the other hand, Sears is like a big department store. If you have a mall, there will always be a Sears in the mall because they're the initial draw, and then you have the smaller stores. People will go to the department store first, and then you go to the smaller stores. Now that the behavior is changed, you don't even need department stores anymore. They have closed so many stores, and I don't know until when they will be in existence. Home Depot is another case. Who's familiar with Home Depot? Okay, Home Depot sells tools, sells building materials. So if you want to do something for your house, and we do have a lot of DIY people, do it yourself, because having someone do it for you is too expensive. If I have a gardener just to mow my lawn, you know how much I pay for if I have somebody else mow my lawn? How much do you think will you pay for somebody to mow? One time. Just mowing your lawn, like the grass.
Not laying down.
Not laying down, just mowing it. It's not that much. Just one time. It's like maybe it takes you 10 minutes to do it. $25. Here you can even hire, I don't know what else, they can do it and then do something else, right? So what you end up doing is doing most of the stuff yourself. So Home Depot is one store. They're okay in terms of being able to protect themselves from Amazon because these are really, if you want cement, if you want plywood, if you want wood, so this is what you get. So Amazon really doesn't do most of it, right? So they're okay in the market. But the problem is that they also sell online. They have two different systems to sell online, and they have a different system to manage the stores. So they have to unify, and then they call it Home Depot One system, and they still are not meeting their targets. They spent, I think, $11 billion to do the digital transformation. Just Home Depot, $11 billion across 2 to 3 years. Because they have so many systems. They bought smaller companies before, they have their own systems, they have partnerships with other vendors. So somebody was supplying them cement, somebody supplying them wood, somebody supplying them nails. So they have interconnections with those systems, they have legacy systems. But the benefit that they're seeing now is that because they have this platform, the new platform, their relationship with contractors. So contractor would be somebody who's building houses, or I'm just doing, if I say I do fences, okay? So I need nail, I need wood, so I need materials for that. So they partner with Home Depot, they supply, so you have credit that goes with them, you have rewards, you get bulk rates. So that has improved a lot. So they get a lot more revenue from that now. So eventually it will be much better for them. Walmart, it's their use of blockchain. So Walmart is so big also, right? But they're using blockchain to track fresh produce. So vegetables, fruits, chicken, meat, whatever. So they use blockchain to tag from where they started, where did they go, where were they sold, and eventually maybe who bought it, because sometimes they will know. If something happens, somebody says, okay, the eggs in this farm are contaminated, then they have to do a recall. Imagine they will recall, they will refund you all of that you have paid. If that happens here, say, chicken from this farm, they have salmonella. What happens? They will recall, and sometimes it takes weeks to know which stores have this chicken. Because they have really big farms of chicken, million chicken. What if that happens here? I don't care. It happens in the Philippines, I'll just go eat the chicken. Boil it one time, boil it again, and then boil it again, and put so much curry and spice, you will not notice it. Right? But there you cannot do it. So use of blockchain allows them to track and to react faster so that there's minimal damage or minimal impact to the health of the consumers. So if I am a customer of Walmart, I know that they're doing that. I know they'll take care of me. Rather than me going to a smaller store that sells vegetables or sells chicken, or a butcher that won't even come back to me and say, you know what, the cow or the chicken there's a problem with the chicken. They won't call you, but Walmart, they will tell you that this is the source of the chicken, there's a problem with it, please return it, and then we'll pay you, we'll refund you whatever it costs. Amazon business, I know you're so familiar with Amazon. Amazon business is different because they cater only to what they target are businesses. So right now, we use what? We use this one, paper, we have water, we have pencils. Where do you get your supplies now? When you buy supplies for your office, how many vendors do you have? If you need pens or paper, where do you buy it? Now you buy it from Amazon, but used to be you have so many others, right? But you buy it from Amazon as regular buyer. Amazon business is like a business to business marketplace wherein if I need paper, I need cookies, I need all the stuff that I need for my office. If they have it, they will deliver it to my office. I don't have to go out and buy it. I don't have to worry. The good thing is that I get bulk discounts, so I get better pricing. Even if I'm just not buying one, I get better pricing. And I also get integration with tax computations and all the other things that they need for reporting purposes. That alone is going to be $20 billion in 2 years. Amazon business to business, $20 billion. It's like a small business, right? For them. So that's a transformation that they're doing. Used to be, I have somebody that buys stuff for us and try to move this. And if you have so many stores that you go through, it becomes easier now. Okay. I think I'll just skip this one, so we don't have much time. But technology, it's basically these guys have been doing, and if you evolve, if you look at Amazon, what kind of company is Amazon? Is it a technology company or is it a e-commerce company?
Both technology.
Both the e-commerce.
You don't even know now because they compete also with logistics because they have their own shipping.
Yeah.
Right? They have their own online payment. They have their own. They even compete with themselves. They sell shoes. They have 6 p.m. They have samples. They own it. But then there's Amazon. So you don't even know. But they are continually evolving. But they're looking at what the customer experience is. Wherever the customer is, that's where I go. Microsoft has evolved before, like all Windows now, they have a lot of Linux users and the technology that they have available in the cloud. Amazon Web Services just came up from all the learnings that they had in operating large-scale e-commerce platform. That's where. And then Apple, again, they were a computer machine. They were desktop PC, not PC, but the desktop machine. Then it evolves into other stuff. They were not a phone company. They're now like a luxury brand. Before Saudi Aramco went public, Apple was the largest company in the world in terms of capitalization. At about $1 trillion. Actually, they flip-flop between Apple and Microsoft. Depends on the month or quarter. Who's the largest. But now Saudi Aramco is about $2 trillion worth. A lot, right? I don't know. Okay, So where do digital transformation projects fail? One is that leadership, lack of CEO sponsorship. If it's driven by IT, the CEO doesn't know what's happening, or the CEO is just, it's okay, you just go forward. But then there's no business value that's being generated, so that's why sometimes it fails. It just is a mandate from management. Just, you come here, attend the session, like, let's do digital transformation. You just said we have to do digital transformation. Just follow me, okay? You don't want to do that. Poor leadership, again, comes from there. If you have people that you want to follow you on their transformation journey, you have to lead them, right? It's like the Statue of Unity. You follow because there's a vision. There's a leadership that comes from there. Okay? If lack of vision, the strategy, and urgency, sometimes we do stuff just because we do stuff, but if we don't have a strategy, we don't know where we're going to get there. You have to have urgency as well. You don't wait. Somebody comes in and then just changes it. Somebody comes in and not even your competitor. Somebody comes in and provides a better experience for your customers. They're gone, right? Non-aligned is aligned. Management that's not really working together well. So if you larger corporations have different departments, whoever leads a digital transformation has a very big challenge to get all the other leaders in the organization to align. Because it becomes more like, it's his responsibility, right? You have finance, no, it's IT's responsibility. So what they think is that if it's technology, it has to be only that drives it. No, it's actually business transformation. If you really look at it, this is business transformation. Digital transformation is just business transformation leveraging technology. That's as simple as that. And then measuring. There's no measure. There are no clear measures. Even if they have measures, they don't have very clear measures and KPIs to know whether they're succeeding or not. And lack of incentives. We're not the guys who are doing the transformation are not being incentivized. So if you're doing a transformation for your organization, what about your employees? When you deploy ERP, you think your employees are happy when you're using ERP? When you know that they're going to lose their jobs? Right? It's not. So what's the incentive? Why would I change? You would also, this one I experienced. We deployed ERP, people were sabotaging the system. Because I now have, I might lose my job. They're just too scared. What's going to happen to them? There's not even incentive because the benefit is just to the company. Why would I do this one? Right? So we have to provide, incentive doesn't always have to be money. It can be something else. And you can be creative to start to do that. Now in terms of culture, we just expect employees to adopt. It's mandated by management. You're my employee, just follow. Right? I'm the boss. Do what I say. Okay? Now, because of that, we have lacking employee engagement. Again, it goes back to the incentive. If there are no incentives, why would I do it? Why would I transform? What's in it for me? They will not tell you directly, hey, boss, what's in it for me? They will just say, right? When you go to a meeting, it's like, we're doing this digital transformation and suddenly. You understand? But when you actually do it, there's no happening there. Risk aversion. People don't want to make a mistake, especially for Asians. They don't want to make a mistake because what happens when you make a mistake? We lose our jobs. Right? But you have to take risks. For you to have rewards, you have to take risks. Now, if only management takes the risk and other people are taking risks for you, you're always the one doing it. You have to let people make mistakes. They have to learn. Not let people make mistakes. Accept that it will not always be perfect. At least they try. The only thing you can do is try. Especially for something that you don't know whether it's going to succeed or not. You try it, then you will know. If you did not try, you will never know. You can read about it, but you will know whether it's going to affect you or not. Resistance to change. People don't want to change. We just want to be the same. Right? The only thing why we change, because if there's really something that's bad that happened or really great that happens. Will we buy stuff? Because of the experience, right? If we experience really joy for something, then okay, I'll buy it, I'll change. But we're not going to change. Aligning technology and talent needs. We introduce new technology. We don't have the right talent to use the technology. We deploy ERP, we don't train the people. If we train the people, we just expect them, okay, just do it. You'll figure it out, right? So there's no alignment there. again, if you're doing new technology, maybe the right thing to do is you might take one person out, move them to another layer, move them to another role, but bring in somebody who's going to do the job that's fitted for the technology or the process or the role. Sometimes we try to retrofit the same person to do a job that they might not be fit. But it's so hard also to get talent. I think even in India you have issues now. For us, I train people, and then somebody will just come in and hire them with double the salary. I spend so much training them. Then they become good, and then somebody just swoops in like, no, I don't want to train people, I just want to pay more for them. But how sustainable is that for us? And then we try to do things digital first before the culture. We introduce technology first before culture. That becomes an issue because when that happens, people are not ready for the change. Remember, the change is going to happen to people. Right? All the changes that you're trying to do happens to people, not to digital. It's just a tool, whether as an end user or as a customer. From an execution standpoint, we mostly focus on technology. That's why when I talk to someone, like, I was talking to someone yesterday, the other day. He said he's doing gift. His business is gifts. He has a startup, and he asked me, "What technologies should I use?" And I asked him, "What experience are your customers going to be?" So no, I want to use this. I want to use IoT. I want to use machine learning. But what's the customer experience? He hasn't even defined it. He just wants to use technology first. No. Create the experience. Figure out the technology later. And then lack of content. That's why we spend so much time. What is digital transformation? Especially with your organization, you say, we want to do digital transformation. What does it mean? If you don't have a common definition, at least for your organization or at least in your discussion with your customers, there will be a disconnect. You're talking about one thing and they're expecting another thing. Okay? So have a common definition of it. Disconnect between IT and business.